Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, June the 30th already in the year 2026, and welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Tom. Well, last week I got to go back into time, a time of achievement, a time of fun, a time of excitement, a time of being different, a time that allowed me to revisit some great memories and to visit with some old friends that I shared some wonderful moments of life with. It was a time also called integration. Last week, I drove to Birmingham for a ring ceremony with my old teammates from the 1972 Auburn football team, nicknamed the Amazins. First of all, why were we nicknamed the Amazins? Well, we were a team picked to finish number 114 out of 117 teams, and we finished number 5. We were only predicted to win 2 games. We won 10 out of 11. We beat 3 top 10 teams. We outscored our opponents 209 to 141. We ended the nation's longest winning streak twice. We led the nation with the fewest number of turnovers. We were special. We were given the name the Amazins. There were 2 African Americans on that team, myself and James Owens. At the ring ceremony, we were all told a story about ourselves. It stood out to me how many of my teammates were from small town Alabama. Not only was this an integration experience for myself and for James, but it was for practically all of my teammates and our coaches. Very few of them had been in an integration environment. The ring ceremony recognized our team as that year's conference champion. We deserved it. It was awarded to the University of Alabama because they played one more game than we did. But we beat them in the infamous Punt-Bama punt game of 1972. Anyway, several of our teammates, Terry Henley, Harry Unger, Johnny Simmons, researched the history of such situations of one team playing one game more than everybody else. And there was some precedent. And so it was determined that we were the conference champions. So now the Amazins are amazing once again. It was a great, great ceremony. It was great to see all the guys, and I'm very, very thankful. So our G-list guest today is Curtis Cannon. Curtis is an entrepreneur, a community leader, and an advocate for mental wellness. He is the managing partner of Access Recovery, founder of Health Coach VR, and creator of the Man Cave. That's KAVE. We look forward to having that conversation. Our show today, of course, is brought to you by the consulting firm of Best Girl. Let's hear from Best Girl.
Best Girl is a consulting firm that provides customized leadership, access and inclusion, public relations, communications, and organizational consulting services. Clients include Fortune 500 companies, utilities, higher education institutions, small businesses, and associations. Best Girl's team of consultants, led by Joyce Gilly-Gossam, Emily Hedrick, and Sean Jones, partners with business and education clients to promote organizational effectiveness, communication, motivation, and leadership, with always an impact on the bottom line. Best Girl's customized consulting services include strategic planning, corporate communication, executive coaching, fundraising, and economic development.
Is to customize the solution that fits your needs. So let's go to the round table and talk to Michael Walker and the 2 Barbers and see what they've got for us this morning. Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. And you?
I'm doing well. I saw those pictures, Tom, from the ceremony last week. It looks like it was a great event. Congratulations to you and the Amazings, the rest of the Amazings, for that accomplishment. That was huge.
It's great to see the guys, and there was certain, like Steve Taylor, who was our center. Steve and I we had a habit that whenever we would walk out on the field before the game, he and I always had to walk together, and we would walk all the way to the other end of the field and then walk back.
Right.
We would do a little play at the end. We'd run little plays, and then at the end, um, we would Lee Gross, who was our center, he would line up in the receiver position, and I would line up at quarterback, and which of course was never going to happen in that point in time. But,
Right.
uh, and I would throw it to Lee, and he would have to catch it, because if he didn't catch it, that means we wasn't going to win. And so,
Right.
a lot of
Let
superstition.
me ask you this, Tom. When you guys were walking from one end of the field to the other, did you talk or did you just walk in silence?
Oh no, we did. We talked, and we did a lot of different things. I can remember we played Florida down there, and somebody came to the huddle and said, "Man, did you see that cheerleader over there?" And so we're all in the huddle, and everybody's looking at this cheerleader with the garter around her leg. And so sometimes we veered off course.
Well, you were still very young.
That's right.
Trying to get
That's right.
focused.
We were.
That's good to know, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this, but you guys remember Jeremy Johnson, who played at
Yes.
Auburn,
Yes.
quarterback, and who
Yes.
really got shafted.
Yes.
Jeremy just won his third Mexican League championship.
I saw that.
Wow.
He is an incredible quarterback for the top tier of Mexican League football.
Yes.
And, he deserves it. I just think he kind of got shafted. He got a bad deal.
Absolutely.
Because he wasn't Cam Newton. He was
Right.
and he couldn't be Cam Newton. He wasn't Cam Newton.
No.
So
Yeah.
and also, Michael, you talked about this guy a lot. Cam Coleman
Yeah.
was asked the question, how tough was it to leave the state of Alabama? His answer was, it wasn't hard, because sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Mhm.
It wasn't really that hard at all.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
you guys, so that explains why he left.
Yeah. I read an article about that, and it also kind of alluded to and insinuated that, he felt he wasn't really being coached up enough, wasn't being worked hard
Utilized.
enough. Heard on the other side, the flip side of it, that he didn't put forth the effort, and that had he trained at Auburn like he's training and practicing at Texas, he would have been a beast. Who knows, But I think the one thing that didn't play well for us was the quarterback play, and
Right.
and that's what he's saying is his main reason, is because he can get to the next level because he can show what he can do. So good
Well,
luck to him.
the quarterback and the coach, I think, make it a big difference. He didn't feel like he was being coached properly too. So
Yeah.
all those
Yeah.
things matter.
Well, at least he has the option to leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
a lot of guys. Jeremy Johnson is one who felt like they weren't coached right, and
Right.
they didn't have that option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And options are important.
Yes, they are.
They are. They're very important.
So who's got something here? Who's up? Barbara and Michael, all the other Barbara.
Well,
I-
the Supreme. Go ahead, Barbara.
No, you could go ahead, Barbara.
I was just going to say the Supreme Court has been busy, and they never fail to surprise. Well, they never fail to be predictable, especially with the TPS, the temporary protective status for Syrians and Haitians, and that just set off a firestorm. Megyn Kelly just made a fool of herself on her. I don't know if Megyn Kelly, who used to be on Fox News, she's trying to reclaim her base back, and she just went on a rant. I thought the woman was having a breakdown on that video that was shown. She just went off on the Haitians like the Ku Klux Klan on steroids.
Right.
Did anybody see that?
I did see it.
So
It's just-
No, but it's kind of follows the pattern of when you're trying to get points, you pick on
Yes.
people who can't fight back.
Right.
You go after them, and then that excites the dummies, and
Right.
Yes.
Good title for them.
Yes, very good title.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was listening to a podcast about that, and the gentleman who was doing the podcast said, did everybody forget about the 60-minute piece that they did on Springfield, Ohio, and the Haitians? And
yeah,
they had interviewed a guy named Jamie McGregor, who's the owner of a metal welding business that would do welding for farms and farm equipment and automobiles. And he said that 10% of his workers were from Haiti. And he said
Right.
30 of them, he says, I wish I could get 30 more. He
Right.
said they come to work every day. They have no drugs. They meet their numbers. They're here to work. He says, now that's unusual for the kind of people we normally get in Springfield, Ohio. And I said, well, what kind of people were they getting in Ohio? Were they not coming to work? Were they on drugs? Did they not meet their numbers? So, he was really, he was
where
just
they
doing,
eat the dogs and cats. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
oh man. I mean, this is what I have come to learn in my years of living. Those people who are going to um, say very, very evil things about people, those are the people that they're really afraid of. They're afraid they're going to take their jobs. They're afraid that they're not going to be able to do the work like the Haitians were doing or the Hispanics that were here. Who's going to do this work when they're gone?
Yeah.
Well, Mr. McGregor is going to be with the same group of people he had prior to the Haitians, and I don't think he's going to be very happy.
Well,
Yeah.
I will just say this, when you look at these policies
Hmm.
and coming out of the administration and the things that they choose to implement, the things they choose not to implement, when they decide to do just a blanket thing like this and you're going after people that are contributing to society,
Mhm.
and you're always talking about tax base and needing to raise more money. We got to get rid of Social Security because we're spending too much money. But yet and still, you can waste money over here on a war that you really did not plan out.
Right.
Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and then asking for 80 more million. But yet and still, a hardworking immigrant population that
Hmm.
is here trying to contribute, the ones that are not getting into any trouble, you're going to just get rid of them. It just doesn't make sense at all to govern that way.
Well, it makes sense to them because again, they're trying to get rid of a voting base that they feel is going to hurt them in the long run. So I think that's a lot
Hmm.
of what this is all about. They don't want people in this country who they feel may be voting against their beliefs and their policies, um, and so they figure they'll just get rid of them, not allow them in this country, and
well,
they'll be able to maintain
plus
power.
it excites the base of people that you're trying to excite.
Right.
True.
They get carried away with, if you know, I watch westerns. If you watch westerns, what they did to the Native Americans was criminal.
Hmm.
It
And the
was.
way they were able to do it was to say that these are bad people over here.
Right.
They do bad things.
Hmm.
And the white man started to scalping. But
Hmm.
they'll scalp you,
They-
they'll cut your hair off and so on and so forth. And to me, it's no different than today.
Yeah,
That's
They,
true.
they
exactly.
pick a segment of people that can be picked on,
Right.
that people who are asleep at the wheel will believe. If you go back to George Wallace, I'll never forget George Wallace when he lost the first election. He said he was never going to be out niggered again.
Hmm.
Absolutely. That's exactly
Yeah.
what he said.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so he used that to win, and
Right.
that
Yes.
they're still using that same formula to win.
So true.
Well,
It's unfortunate, but that's where we are.
It
That's where
yeah,
we
is.
are. And the
it
thing of
is.
it is that you very seldom hear anybody talk about the Syrians. It's all about the Haitians because the Haitians are very visible, easy to see people. skin color makes a big difference in this country, and it always has. So therefore, the ones that are most visible and easy, or they become easily targeted, like our
Right.
forefathers.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Uh, anybody got anything else?
Yeah, I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys
let me
heard
go
about
between
this.
the two barbers.
Go ahead, Michael.
Can I go between the two barbers and
Yeah,
You
because
stuff?
you
can.
gotta go.
Yes,
I,
go
I
ahead.
want to share something with you. I'm in New Jersey, Atlantic City, okay? And I always try to find out something about the place that I'm visiting. There's Lucy the elephant here in New Jersey. It's a 6-story, 90-ton elephant shaped building in Margate City, New Jersey. It was built in 1881 by James Lafferty to promote real estate sales, making it American oldest outside attraction. This elephant has served as a restaurant, a tavern, and they tell me you can call up to the top of it and look out over the city through the elephant's eyes. And then you can
Hmm.
sit up on top of it and look out over the state of New Jersey. And
Wow.
it is something else to be seen. And now it's a national historic site. I may try and get down there just to check it out, but
Well,
just
take
think
pictures when
about,
you do.
I was gonna
Take
say,
yeah,
send us
pictures.
pictures, Michael, to share. That sounds interesting.
I might
yeah,
look that up on one of my travels. I like that.
yes,
Lucy
it's
the
called
elephant.
Lucy the Elephant.
Interesting.
Anybody got anything else?
Yes, I don't know if you guys heard about this Michigan couple who's facing murder charges after their 7-year-old son died of heart disease. This poor child weighed 255 pounds, and he passed away in November of 2025. It, his name is Casper O'Brien, and he did not go to school. He had only been to the doctor one time in his lifetime. They said his basic diet consisted of French fries and potato chips.
Oh,
I don't know how these parents get away with this type of thing. For 7 years, this poor child went to the doctor one time. And how do you let a child get to almost 300 pounds and don't take him to the doctor? He had to have some type of complications, physical complications. They said basically was totally bedridden.
of course he
Couldn't
was.
even,
Yeah.
yeah, couldn't even move around. So
Was he
how
their
will we?
only child?
No, they actually have another child who was also overweight, but not as big as this child. And of course, the other child has been taken into DHS custody. The parents are in jail, and rightly so, because they definitely contributed to his death. It's
I'm
sad
sorry, Barbara,
situation.
how old did you say he is? And how,
The
7.
child was 7 years old.
7.
that's what I thought you
7
said,
years
7
old.
years old.
7
So
years
the
old.
parents
Weighed
were
more
the
than
Weighing
parents
255, 255 pounds. They said when he was
mm,
taken to the hospital.
were the
Um,
parents overweight too? Because usually it's a trend when you
it
have obese parents.
It didn't mention, Barbara, if they
Mm-hmm.
were or not. Didn't even show photos. The article I read didn't even show photos of the parents. So I couldn't. I don't know if they
Mm-hmm.
were overweight as
Mm-hmm.
well. But
That diet is just you can't live on that diet
absolutely
healthily.
not.
Seven
Absolutely
years
not.
old.
Hmm.
Mm,
It's
wow.
it's a shame.
Nutrition is so important.
Right.
And there probably were some mental health issues there too. Um,
Absolutely.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the
Wow.
family, it wasn't a situation where the family didn't have insurance or couldn't afford it. They had insurance.
What?
That was the other strange thing. Yes.
And the
Had
insure you
great medical insurance, just did not take a child to the doctor, didn't, it's like they didn't care.
well, even insurance companies now, if you they will send a person to your house once a year to look at you, to check you, to weigh you, to take your blood pressure. I mean, this is something that has just in my insurance company over the last 5 years.
Hmm.
And you just think about that. You know, the healthcare, if they have it, that's a jewel that you need to
Absolutely.
use. Not everybody
My
has that.
my first thought was they wasn't taking the child to the doctor because they just couldn't afford it. The more I read the
Hmm.
article and it said they had great health insurance, both parents worked outside of the home. How
And how
could
did
you allow this to happen?
the child not go to school at 7 years old? Maybe they were homeschooling. That's
Maybe that's
another
what they
thing.
were telling someone they were homeschooling them, but
Yeah, they weren't doing
golly,
it.
they were not.
Wow.
It's a shame.
Well, I wanted to bring up just a couple of more things. We had a couple of our um, stars that we love. Um, Charlie Wilson had an illness last year of several strokes that he revealed to us this summer. And he talked about how he had to learn how to walk all over again.
Mhm.
And that just proves the stamina that he has. And then the former, um, who's the other guy that had, he got sick on stage. He was singing,
Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie
Lionel
got sick
Richie.
on stage.
Hmm.
And he said, I'm going to sit down and sing Dancing on the Ceiling. He said, it'd be my first time ever sitting down doing this. But he says, I don't feel well. And I've learned when you're in your 70s, you need to sit your behind down when you
Yeah.
don't feel well. So he canceled a
Yes.
couple of shows, but
I
he
think he
says
canceled
that,
the remainder of his tour. He was
did
on
he cancel
tour.
the, okay,
Yes, he
because
was
he was
on tour
touring
with
with
Earth.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think he ended up canceling the remainder of his tour because of his health condition.
Yeah, yeah. I hope he's get better. So just keep them in your good thoughts that they'll get better. They'll get better. Yeah.
Yes.
Have you all been reading up on Jay Morant? Anybody? Jay Morant's trying to. They want to trade him. Nobody take him.
Are
Interesting.
you surprised?
I
Are
am
you
not
surprised?
surprised. you
Portland,
know,
he's in Portland now.
is he
Right.
in Portland now? Did they take him?
Yes.
Okay, because I know the Sacramento is it Kings?
Sacramento
They were
Kings.
they were trying to bargain, and they said they take him, but they had to have some draft. Um, they had to have a draft pick that they wanted from his most recent team, and they said no. So I wonder what that deal looks like with the new team he's with. Anybody have an idea
They're gonna
what
be
that?
pretty good. They got some good
Yeah,
players over there. They got
that's
Okay.
good.
Dame
That's
That's
Lillard.
good.
good.
They got the guy they got from Boston that was
Okay.
walking when they won the championship. I can't think of his name, but he's a good player. So they got several players. They got enough to be competitive.
Well, I
Right.
pray he'll be stay within the in his lane. Yeah, because he's a good
He'll be
player.
better.
He is great
He's a
player.
great player. I love watching him, but his off court behavior, maybe he'll get some new friends.
A
I
new
hope so.
mentor. Maybe he'd get a new mentor, someone to
Yes,
guide
that too.
him in the right
Oh
path.
God. Yeah. Drop it. Yeah, I agree.
That looks like a move to protect Carlos Boozer's son, get him out of the way so he doesn't be a bad influence.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But they brought in
Hmm.
Boozer, number 3, I
Hmm.
think, in the draft. He went to Memphis.
He
So I'm
did.
sure they don't want that.
Well, one
You
of
know,
them also went to Portland.
who one of the Boozer boys?
Yes.
Oh,
Who
both of them
went?
got drafted.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I didn't
good.
That's
know
great.
They said that he was going to be dealing with the Boozer kid. I don't know which one it is, but this is
that. Oh, really?
he's at Portland.
Wow.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Interesting.
It's
Well,
interesting.
we'll have a lot to watch for during the basketball season, coming back NBA season.
And maybe LeBron ain't ready to go sit down yet. I'm tired of LeBron myself. You know,
LeBron should be tired by now.
he wants to
he
go play
I
he's
with.
he,
love him as a player, but he should be tired. Goodness.
I don't know, y'all. I have to
He
go for
wants to
the
go to
senior
Golden State.
citizens. I
I
want him
love
to do.
him. I love him.
I
I
do
just, I'm
too.
a big LeBron fan, but my goodness.
Well, he wants to go to Golden State, and he wants Golden State to get Anthony Davis, and they'll go to Golden State and see if they can bring them back.
Now, how you think his son feels about that? So you're gonna leave your son with the Lakers and go to Golden
Time's
State?
up.
Lakers
Time's up,
probably
Michael.
Lakers might let his son go.
Yeah.
According to
They
the
might.
reports, he hadn't had any discussions with the Lakers at all.
Hmm.
So I think it's time for him.
And maybe his deal will include them bringing the son with wherever he goes. So that'll be
It may.
interesting to watch as well.
My son might not want to go. Might want
That's
to get out
true.
from under daddy.
For real. I agree with you, Tom. Yeah.
A
Because
couple
they have
things
a
about
conversation every day.
a couple things about a couple sports icons that I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is Philadelphia being the home of Smoking Joe Frazier. And, there's a statue of Joe Frazier, but it's been out in some area. And, Sylvester Stallone's portrait of Rocky, where he runs up the stairs and
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
poses and stuff. And that's been at the Philadelphia Museum of Art, I believe. So what
It
they're
is.
doing this week, they've been talking about, they are relocating Joe Frazier's statue to that place. And they're moving the Rocky
Rocky.
statue on the inside of the museum and on the top floor or something like that. But they're going to put Frazier there at the top of those stairs now.
Okay.
And
Oh, that's
it's going to
great.
be there for the dedication. And, they say this is where it should be because he was the real life Rocky,
Right.
so and that actually that character that Sylvester Stallone played was because of Joe Frazier and stuff. And
Mm.
it was an interesting article that the one of the persons that were involved in doing it, because it was like a community thing to get done. He said he called Sylvester Stallone and told him that, and he said that's where it is and stuff. So I thought that was a nice tribute to Smoking Joe Frazier.
Most definitely.
Smoking
And
Joe.
deserving. Most deserving.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes, it's gonna be a 9 foot tall statue. And
Okay.
That's
and
great.
the way it's done is like when he was known for his left hook, and so the statue is going to be in the position of him following through after he delivered the left hook that dropped Muhammad Ali. Is what they said.
Okay.
Joe, when Muhammad Ali came to Auburn, 1973, he gave a talk called "The Intoxications of Life," and I was in a journalism class, so we got to go cover it. And when it was over, Les King, who was the campus photographer, came over to me and he says, when he comes out, Tom, if you'll go over there by him, I'll get a picture of you and Muhammad. I said, okay, that'd be great. So when he comes out, I start over towards him and he goes into Joe Frazier and he starts throwing punches
Oh,
at me.
no.
And I'm leaning back, I didn't ball my fist up because I didn't want him to think I was hurt. So
You got a defense mode, didn't you, Tom?
I still got that photo.
Oh, wow.
It was one of my highlights. And what was so interesting, and I think what was so interesting now, and it wouldn't happen now because of all the stupidness going on. But after that, Muhammad Ali went over to Dean Cater's house and sat there for about 2-3 hours with just students and just
Oh, wow.
had a conversation all night. And
Wow.
he was so, there were a few black girls there, and he was very, he wanted them to know that they were special, and he made them feel special that night.
That's awesome.
It was an incredible night, and
Yeah.
we lucked out. So
Yeah.
I'm
That
sure.
was
Great.
great.
Speaking of that, Tom, the rest of that article said that Sylvester Stallone, Joe Frazier appeared in one of the Rocky movies, I think on outside the ring and stuff, and that he was gonna do a scene with him boxing with Joe Frazier in the movie. And they said that they was practicing and sparring, and Frazier hit him in the ribs, and he decided against it.
Oh, my goodness.
Joe,
Smoking Joe.
Joe had a hook, buddy.
Yes.
We went
Like
that
nobody
night.
else.
He fought Muhammad. We went up to Columbus, Georgia. Dwight Drinkard was driving, and there was a bunch of us in the car, and we were all for. Everybody was for Ali except for Drink. And we went over to Columbus and we watched that fight, and he knocked Ali down. and that car was so quiet on the way back. The only person talking was Drink. This guy had won.
Oh gosh. That
It was
didn't
a
happen
great
often
night.
though. Yeah.
No, it did.
My dad was a great he loved boxing, and I could never understand how a minister, for as long as he's a minister all my life, how a minister could be so excited about boxing. I mean, two guys are duking it out in the ring, and somebody's going to get hurt. You know, and they tape them up and send them back out. They rinse them down and send them back out. And I never could figure out the thrill of boxing. I don't know. Maybe you guys can explain. What is it? Tom, what is it?
No, I think, it's just it's the sport of it. And
Right.
guys, especially when I grew up, it came on every Saturday night.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
The beer companies brought it on, I think. And me and my dad and my uncles would watch it, and we just loved it, man. It's just great. Now, it's not like that, whatever you call that fighting they do, cage fighting type thing.
No, no,
Yeah,
no,
that
no, no,
UFC.
no. Oh, that's horrible.
Thank
You
God.
you had to have some kind of, I don't
Yeah,
know,
rules.
but yeah.
Yeah, rules. Yeah.
It was great. And then you had people like Howard Cosell who just
Oh,
made
yes.
it so, Howard
The color.
Ali was fighting Oscar Bonavena, and it was
Mhm.
a 15-round fight. And Ali knocked him down twice. And Howard Cosell says, if he goes down again, and Ali hit him and he went down, Howard said, it's over. Oh man,
Those were the days.
He was a colorful commentator. I mean,
Yes,
he
he
was colorful.
was.
Ali would
Mhm.
pull that toupee up off his head.
Yes, he would.
It was fun to watch.
It
Man.
was.
Yeah. One time Cosell was interviewing Ali, and Ali was talking his smack and stuff, and Cosell said, Ali, you're awful truculent today. Ali said, I don't know what truculent mean, but if that's good, I'm that too.
That's right.
They were made for each other. I'm telling you, they
They
were.
were. They were.
Yeah.
But let's move on. So let's go to Sean. I think Sean's got a minute for us, and then we'll come back with our G-list guest. Sean, your turn.
Good morning to everyone joining in with us. My name is Shantia Jones, and this has Got a Minute. It's Tuesday, so let's talk about stories. Have you ever noticed that two people can live through the exact same moment and walk away with two totally different stories? One remembers rejection, the other remembers redirection. One sees failure, the other one sees feedback. The events didn't change, the story did. We spend a lot of time trying to change our circumstances, but we rarely stop to examine the narrator in our own minds. Is your inner thought playing, trying to help you heal, or is it trying to help you stay hurt? Is it telling you the truth, or just repeating what you've believed for years? Here's the thing, your mind is always telling a story. The question isn't whether there's a story, the question is who wrote it, and more importantly, do they deserve the pen? You think about it and you tell your own story. So that's it. That's your minute. I want you all to go out and have a great day. And if you don't want to, then don't you go out ruining anybody else's, because they can do that for themselves. Thank you all for joining in. My name is Shantia Jones, and this has Got a Minute.
So let's go to our G-list guest for today. Hollywood's got the A-list, and here on Tuesday with Tom, we have the G-list. Our G-list guest today is Curtis Cannon. He's an entrepreneur, a community leader, and an advocate for mental wellness. He's the managing partner of Access Recovery, founder of Health Coach VR, and creator of the Man Cave. Let's give welcome Curtis, and we look forward to having that conversation. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you for being with us. I think, Barbara, you got a question for Curtis?
I do. Good morning, Curtis. Thank you so much for being with us today. Um,
Absolutely.
Mr. Entrepreneur, tell us about Access Recovery and what was, what initiated that thought and also the action to actually start that company.
Back in 2019, I was a broker for a firm, an employee benefits firm here, and I wanted to uh, do different work that was outside of the scope of insurance. There are a lot of things I felt that could be done at the workplace to help people get the health care they need without the upcharge that comes with insurance and some of the co-pays and the deductibles people pay. So I started Access Recovery with that in mind. So we set up employee health clinics using direct primary care, health screenings. We do lunch and learns, workshops with mental health therapists to talk through stress, burnout, that type of thing. So I wanted to provide more of a service as opposed of just a benefit, right?
Right.
So that was the idea around it. And when COVID hit, we were right in place to do COVID testing at the workplace. So
Yes.
we worked with UAB and a few other companies to kind of um, supplement their workforce, as you would say, to get people the COVID testing and the injections that they need during that time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Barbara?
So in doing this work, which is I think a very good balance to the traditional healthcare that we all are aware of, what are some of the challenges that you experienced starting like pre-COVID with this new business? Was it something that you just completely dove right into, or did you gradually move into it from your brokerage, your being a broker with the insurance firm?
Yeah, that's a great question. We actually, at the time I was married and just making this joint decision, kind of having this time clock in my mind that it's kind of like now or never. I'm not getting any younger. So I always wanted to be an entrepreneur and I always wanted to be impactful. That's very important to me. So I felt like doing this, providing this type of model would allow me to deliver care and for people to get a lot of access to care without incurring the additional costs. So direct primary care, if you're not familiar with it, is essentially where you pay a monthly fee, and
Hmm.
it's for a primary care doctor, and they'll give you a list of services, but there are no co-pays. It's not related to any type of insurance, and it's since we do employee clinics, it's all funded by the employer. So essentially, the employees and their families experience free healthcare. We put in 21, we put one in for the city of Birmingham, and it's still there now. I think it's been running for 3 years, all the way through, and it's been running well, and that's really been beneficial to people that can't afford the co-pays, they can't afford the insurance, even though they have it. It's just, as you know, it gets out of hand sometimes. But the biggest challenges I would say was, especially during that time, was obviously COVID and us having to pivot. That's right. So we had to pivot
Hmm.
and start doing the testing because there were a lot of companies that had what we call essential workers, and that include
Hmm.
the police and EMS people that had to go out there and still serve the public. So we had a clinic that we partnered with off-site that did remote COVID testing, curbside testing. So and worked with HR to get those whether they were positive or not. So because
Hmm.
even you could be asymptomatic and still pass it. So the biggest challenge was COVID at the time, but being that we were set to pivot, it really worked out for the company's benefit for us to grow
Really
in
good.
that space.
Hmm. Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We started
that
to
was
be in
Okay.
great.
more high demand, so that was
And it
important.
kind of got your name out there too, so people would hear your name more and understand the service that you were delivering. Because even for me, I know I experienced it that sometimes it was difficult to find a location where you could get curbside service to be tested for COVID.
That's right. And if you recall, UAB had so many people in the hospital that they
Hmm.
could not really do this kind of work. So they were
Right.
subcontracted out to my team, and I would send them also not only the UAB with American Regional Medical Services (ARMS). It's a community healthcare organization, and we would go and support their testing initiative. So that lasted probably about a good 2 or 3 years. It really got us going funding wise because
That's great.
companies were getting paid by the CARES Act money, in which they paid us for it. We supported Stillman College. We did Camtech for about 18 months. Of course, the city of Birmingham and a couple other companies, Grand Bohemian, Alabama Public Television. These were our clients at the time, and they actually stayed on as clients for a period of time afterward to do other work.
Okay.
So it
That's
was a
That's
great.
positive from that standpoint.
Yes.
hmm
Very good.
Yeah. And well, later we got
Curtis,
on into mental health. So
Yeah.
Right.
congratulations on your accomplishment. And I'd like to commend you
thank
on
you.
what you're doing. Let me
Thank
ask
you.
you this. How are you able to, with the way that we're leaving professionals in the healthcare field, how are you able to keep enough healthcare providers under contract in order to continue your services? Are you having some difficulties with that?
Not necessarily because I only go after independent practitioners. So these are practitioners that have their own practice or have their own partner practice. They're not controlled by UAB or St. Vincent or whoever. So that way I'm able to contract directly with them, and they see the benefit of it because a lot of them struggle with the idea of even dealing with commercial insurance. They don't like the billed amount versus the paid amount. And I
Right.
think the barbers, they understand how that works. But
Definitely.
so I would come to them with a solution. I've converted a number of doctors that do just regular general practice to having more of a hybrid model where they would have their regular practice, then they would have a separate entity that was more of the direct primary care model. So I helped them with the conversion, and I've contracted with them with regard to the clinic work and some of the on-site stuff we needed. So they love it because it doesn't include the insurance stuff, which they hate, the pre-authorizations, which they hate, the billing, the coding, they hate that. So if they can make a buck on the side and kind of get free from that for a minute and get a little bit more margin, they love it.
Mm, okay.
That's great.
Now, are there any regulations around the way that you're doing it? Because I remember when we talked about, as a matter of fact, I went down and testified on behalf of a bill for direct primary care market and stuff. So they were putting some regulations around it here in Georgia. Are they doing the
Right.
same thing in Alabama, or is it kind of without that now?
Well, I think there's it's still kind of developing. They allowed some, I think, flex plans to use some of the dollars to pay toward any type of out-of-pocket costs around it. The way our model works is we don't deal with the membership from a person-to-person standpoint. We ask the
Okay.
employer to pay. So it's a lot cleaner with regard to how it's handled because the employer pays that per employee per month or that per member per month model, and we just give a list of here are the things that we cover. So there's regulation around it to your point, but a lot of it is it's still being developed. Even I think back in 2017, it was defined as not being insurance. That was a very big determination that it was not considered to be insurance, which kept it
hmm
away from other insurance regulations. So
Yes.
that was important.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can't market it as insurance based off of that.
Right.
Correct. Correct.
Right.
Correct. So, but that was that's actually that's one of the things I enjoy about what I do is because it get outside of the scope of a space that I'm very familiar with. I've worked 12 years at Blue Cross. I've had a number of roles so I understand the pain points that customers encounter. When I say customers, I'm talking about companies. You know,
Right.
the insurance increases. I was kind of part of the team that would go out and have to hand these increases off to HR people and payroll, and they would not be happy campus to see me
Mm-mm.
coming.
Right.
So now I think it's more or less having them to buy into a solution. They're willing to at least take a look at it. One of the things I make certain to do is if you allow me to take a look at your claims cost, and by me having kind of the background and understanding how they're being handled by insurance companies, I'm able to let them know if you're from the beginning if we're able to help you or not from a cost perspective. I'll give an example. One client, they had about $400,000 in metformin costs. since we dispense metformin out of the clinic for free as a part of the bundle cost, that's cost they was not going to incur. In
Wow.
addition to the fact the doctor that we had on site, there's a copay obviously through your insurance to pay to be seen, but coming to our clinic, there is no copay. So it's day one savings anytime you had to go see your practitioner, see our practitioner. So we had
Hmm.
the clinic was a block away from City Hall. It was right across from the Hugo Black Courthouse, downtown Birmingham.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And what was cool about it, the doctor, of course, she had her own practice as well. So they were able to access two of those clinics, one in Trustful and one downtown.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. And it
That
was
is
accessible to
good.
everybody on the insurance for their family to use. So it
Wow.
was a good opportunity. Yeah,
Mm, that's
Beneficial for
great.
everyone. That's great.
absolutely.
That
Absolutely.
Yes.
sounds.
More care, less cost.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a real
So
success right there.
Yes.
Um,
it was. It was.
yes.
It actually saved the city over $2 million over the course of 3 years.
Wow.
So so when you think about health insurance, the more claims you submit, obviously that play a role into your cost, especially if you're self-insured, which means that you pay your own claims.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take the claims away from the insurance company and even your primary care is being handled within the confines of that direct primary care clinic, your costs come down. Just think about if you had an uncle that fixed cars, and if you had a ding, you don't have to submit that to the insurance company. Your cousin
Right.
fixes it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just a illustration. And
Right.
so your premiums come down, and that's
Mm-hmm.
or your costs come down, and that's essentially the model that we work with. So it's really a no-brainer for companies to really take a look at it.
Yes.
Um,
Absolutely.
That's
because
amazing.
primary care is 80% of your claims volume. It may not be 80% of your cost, but it's 80% of the
Your
claims volume,
claims.
but it's on the front end. And
Right.
like so your health screenings, all the preventative stuff can help avoid stuff like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, if you kind of stay on top of it. And sometimes people don't go to the doctor because they don't have the co-pays or deductible to do it.
Right.
And we remove all of that. So
That's
That
amazing.
is great.
yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, anybody got any more questions for
I
Well,
Curtis?
this
do.
is. Go ahead, Barbara.
Curtis, I want to ask you about Health Coach VR. You're the founder of
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Health Coach VR. Tell us about that.
All right, so Health Coach VR is kind of an on-demand, what I would say, behavioral health platform. I have a team of therapists that I work with. These are and I'll get into the man cave. These are the same therapists that I use. Some of them that help me with the man cave events. So essentially, they are licensed therapists where you text a keyword to a 5-digit number. We give you a keyword. You text it to that 5-digit number. A link comes in. It's a HIPAA secure link, and when you hit the link, you enter your name and you're face to face with that doctor within 30 seconds or less, that therapist.
Wow.
Wow.
So
That's
we
great.
want to make it almost like immediate access to mental health care. When you think about it could take 4 to 6 weeks to see a therapist to get even
Hmm.
seen on the
Right.
schedule, and the immediacy of care, and we designed it specifically to reach the men's community because we are so reluctant to pursue support in that way that we have to have immediacy with suicide and domestic violence and alcoholism and all the things that men encounter that are pretty unique to us. It's very important that we have quick access to help. And so I paired this product with some of the workshops that we did on site because what I saw was as I was doing a lot of workshops in the plants and the construction sites,
Hmm.
because like I said, we do the stress management workshop, burnout, and all that. I
Right.
would have some guys doing the workshop, and a lot of the men would come up and want to talk to the guys and continue to talk. So I said, we need something that extends beyond the walls.
Yes.
How can we do something that allows them not just this moment in time to get the help and the information they need? How do we maintain that relationship? Because with men, it's all about trust. When we're going to
Yes.
open up and talk about stuff that's, very what we call unspoken areas of our lives, the things that we don't talk about as men, it's very important that we have somebody that we trust to have these conversations with that's licensed and they know what they're doing. And so we wanted to maintain that bridge. So we developed that product. And then later on, I developed the virtual reality component where They're able to use virtual reality environments. The therapist is able to work with the guys in his VR environments to to maintain the things that they learn in therapy, like exposure therapy is an example.
Right.
Exposure therapy is VR therapy. VR therapy is actually covered by insurance, and that's kind of a separate thing. But the idea that you can, if somebody's afraid of heights or afraid of spiders or dogs, or there's exposure therapy where the therapist can gradually help walk them through that these trigger points so they can get over this and anxiety attacks, and they can kind of help them in these virtual. They'll put them in environments where they can control the intensity of these experiences so they can
Mm.
get over them eventually. And they can do it at home. They can do it on their cell phone. They
Hmm.
can do it with the headset, or they can do it on their laptop. So that's what we
That
have available.
is, that's great.
That is simply
Yeah.
amazing. I have never heard of this. I need therapy for my spider and bugs.
She does. She's got.
Yeah.
I'm serious,
Yeah.
Curtis. I need real help. I
Yeah.
don't know
Well,
about,
there
I
was
don't think you can.
there's actually there's actually a lot of good research around how VR therapy is an effective tool because just to give you an example, I have a daughter. My daughter was afraid of flying. This probably would have
Yeah,
been good for her because she
Mhm.
would have been able to put the headset on and
right.
have that and look around and be on a plane, see it lift off. But the therapist
Right.
is there with
Guiding
you
her.
know talking her through it. So
Hmm.
Yes.
a lot of good
Awesome.
research around it.
Well, I'll give you my
Absolutely.
phone number because I really need this therapy. Lizards, snakes, spiders. I mean, I'm just, it's
Yeah. Okay.
Barbara. Yes,
Anything
Yeah.
crawling.
Anything crawling.
Yes.
anything crawling. Absolutely.
I will say
That,
the last thing that we're I really kind of wanted to get this part of the message out about the man cave.
Yes.
It's kind of a what I call a men's support community event. I hate using men's mental health event, but that's because that's such a stigma with that. But we have an event every year that we call the Man Cave. We take over a movie theater and we buy out the concession stand. We ask the guys to bring their sons, nephews, and like all the guys in their family, communities, husbands, everybody just to come and it's free. We provide lunch, and I have about five male therapists. Put them out front, bar stool discussion, and we just hammer out stuff, and they share a lot of stuff that can help the guys. So it's not a session where guys just put their information out, but it's something when they get to learn that they're not alone when they go through stuff. And obviously between breaks and sessions, they'll even ask questions during the session. But this year we're doing it at, we made a pivot this year. We normally do it at the Sidewalk Cinema, that which is a
Hmm.
hmm
downstairs movie theater downtown
yeah,
Birmingham. That's
Yes.
why
right.
we named it the Man Cave because it was downstairs and it was a movie theater.
Okay.
And but now we're doing it at Morehouse College, July 18th.
Oh
And
wow.
the HBCUs are actually reached out and they want the Man Cave at their campuses during the fall.
Yeah.
And Clark,
Awesome.
Tuskegee, and I think Alabama State are interested.
Okay.
So
So
we're excited about
if
that.
someone is interested in attending the Man Cave in Atlanta at Morehouse, how do they register or reach out to you all?
Like, hmm
Absolutely. They can go to my website, which is accessrecovery.org, O-R-G, A-X-I-S, recovery.org. And then there's a tab that says the Man Cave. There's a registration link there that takes you to the Eventbrite page where they can register on Eventbrite, or they can just go to Eventbrite and type in the Man Cave with a K and register there. Be great.
And
And
the
again,
event
it's a free
is
event.
July 18th. And what are the times?
11 to 5, Saturday, July the 18th, 11 to 5 in the Martin Luther King International Chapel.
Okay.
It's
Awesome.
it's in the Hall of Fame part of it.
okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
So
I
excited
think
about
what
that.
you're, I think what you're doing, Curtis, is just so critical because I know that there are a segment of young men who have no friends.
Right.
I mean, they have no friends.
Right.
And when they come to having a problem, it's everything shuts down and stands still. And I
Right.
think this is the kind of person that needs this. access recovery, VR recovery, and also this man cave. Um, they really need support. And this number, they're silent. They don't, unless you know a family that has a son or a brother or an uncle in that situation, they are people who are withdrawn. And how is the
Did we lose
VR
someone?
services? Yes,
Hello.
how's the VR services a deliverable? How do you get
Can
into
y'all hear
that
me?
so that yes, how does that happen? How do you get in to get the service? Do you get in by registration or do you um on the behavioral health center in VR? How do young men access that? Can you hear me?
Doesn't look
Or
like it.
I
I
don't
think
think
we got
so.
yeah.
Yeah, we got an
I
audio
can hear you.
problem.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Okay.
what's
Okay.
happening.
I
Yeah.
think I think from the most part, with men in particular, we have to be very intentional. And
Mm-hmm.
I think with a lot of guys, you're not just going to be able to just give them a number
Right.
and say, "Hey, give me a call if you're having trouble." You know, the Bible talks about being fishers of men, fishers of men. You know, even though it's talking about more about the gospel, in the same respect, you have to go and seek out people that could possibly need help. And what'll happen is sometimes they'll sit through a session or they'll sit through a workshop and it'll look like they're just glazed over, but at the end, they really are just kind of doing a recount of their lives and wondering, that sounds like what I'm dealing with.
Right.
That sounds like what my brother's dealing with or my nephew. And now the questions come because now they don't have to explain themselves to somebody that obviously get it. And so that's where the real trust is built. And that's what is built on is the fact that we need to go out and do the work in the communities and address the men's community in a way that's a little different because by the time you figure out something is going on with the men in your life, it's gonna play out through behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could play
Mm-hmm.
out through alcohol, drug abuse, domestic violence, it could anger, because a lot of times men, not that I'm a therapist, but I see this play out so much that we either press in terms of irritation, frustration, aggression, or we withdraw,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you
Mm-hmm.
see kind of two main avenues on how men process their emotions. So men are not great talking about how they feel. That's not what
Right.
we do. And when you talk about, I heard you guys talk earlier, when it's a sports culture, you even brought up in the sports culture, you man up. You don't really speak up. You just man up, and
Mm-hmm.
you work through pain, you fight through pain. Nobody's here to save you. You do it yourself. Nobody. So this whole mindset is culture built and is framed up in how we were raised, how our fathers raised us, how our granddads taught us to be. But there's an element to all of this to where you have to be you have to be of sound mind to where you can help support your family in the right way. Because
Right.
I talk about this to the guys all the time. You have sons and you have nephews that's going to need you. And there's certain things that you dealt with as you grow up as a man that they're going to need your insight on how to navigate this part of their life because they may have some traits that you had and you're seeing some things that because as a dad, I see it in my own son. I have a 12-year-old son. I said, you know what? If I don't get my hand on that quick, it's gonna be a problem because I know me. And he a
Mm-hmm.
little bit like me right there. So we
Right.
have to be able to talk to our young men in that way and have a real dialogue. We have to find the language to connect with them because you don't want the streets connecting with them. You don't
That's
want their
right.
knucklehead friends connecting with them and social media, right? You have to be that voice that they respect. So that's why I love this mission. It's very important to me. We're working on the program right now, developing a program where we can get more Black men into therapy as a profession because we need more professionals in this space that look like us, that can talk to us, that can relate to
Mm-hmm.
us. And I want that to be a big thing too, where we get more Black male therapists into the industry so we can have the support we need going forward.
I have one final
Awesome.
question, Curtis. Um,
Sorry for being
how
long-winded. I'm a little.
Oh, you're
that's
fine.
okay. You're doing great. Many,
Yeah.
there are
So,
many single moms who have
but and I
sons.
appreciate this opportunity and this platform that you all provide. It's very much
Okay.
needed. These discussions are important. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Curtis, thank you a lot, man. We appreciate it. It's been very, very informative, and
Hmm.
Thank you.
hopefully
Yes.
some good stuff will come out of it on
Thank
our
you.
end.
Thank you, Tom. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
it's you know, I always say, and I think I may have mentioned this to Michael. You know, for men, if you can get a young boy from, if you can guide him from 18 to 25, if you can get him on the other side of 25, he's got a chance.
That's
But
Yes.
right.
between 18 and 25 is it's tough on
Critical
you,
years.
you
That's
know.
right.
Uh,
Hmm.
That's right.
yeah, and,
Yeah. And
and
it's not easy. It's
no,
not easy, but it's possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
and you got to have somebody there, whether it's your dad or your granddad or your mentor, your friend, your cousin. You got to have somebody there that says it's going to be okay. And
Right.
That's right.
where, like I said with my dad always told me, "You're just passing through," and that
Hmm.
made it
Yeah.
easier for me,
That's
because
right.
you don't need to worry about that guy. You just passing through there, man. You on your
Yeah.
way, and
That's
I've
right.
never forgotten that. Never forgotten.
Right.
That's right. The power of a father's words. You
Yeah,
know,
Yes.
yeah,
they may not say a lot, but when they speak, is
yeah,
extremely impactful. And
Yes.
so, as as men that have families and that has sons and daughters, we have to be able to connect, and it starts early. In like with my daughter, I made it a mission to frame the way she thought, talk her up. I talk her up. I tell her she's special even since she was 4 years old, and it's true because I said it's true, and now she
Right.
believes it. And so you can frame their thinking, and that's how you protect them to where they get a certain age and they know who they are. They can't be told who they are,
yes,
and that's
Right.
so important. They know who they are.
that's a great thing.
Absolutely.
Knowing who you are is a big deal.
Hmm.
Big deal.
Absolutely,
Well, thank you so
absolutely.
much, man. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, and best
Thank
of
you.
with everything you're doing. And if there's some new stuff that comes out or you want to share, let us know, and we would love to have you come back and share it with us.
Yes,
So it's
I'll
great.
keep you
Thank
posted, especially on the HBCU
you.
thing that we're doing, because
Yes.
that's starting to take shape. People are asking us to come in the fall, and we're thinking of. I would love to do an HBCU tour with the therapist guys and just do this.
Oh,
So
yes.
thank y'all. I'll come
Great.
back and give you updates.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
Curtis. Thank you,
Thank you,
All
Curtis.
man.
right. Thank you.
We
Bye bye.
All
appreciate
right.
it. All right.
Bye bye.
All right. So let's see, my closing comment for today, or as I see it, I want to take a few minutes and say we're coming up on our 295th episode of Tuesdays with Tom. Um, Going into our sixth year. And so I want to thank the team, the two Barbaras, Emily, Sean, Michael. They do an outstanding job week in and week out. And it's a pleasure to work with them and to bring a good, informative show to you. So thank the team and thank the audience for being with us. And that's our show for today. We want to thank the audience. We appreciate you. Thank our sponsor, Best Girl Inc. Thanks again to the TWT team, Barbara, Sean, Emily, Michael, Joyce, and Barbara. And as always, a special thanks to the audience. And that's it for this June the 30th in the year 2026. Remember, a day without a smile is a day wasted. Enjoy yourself. Make every day count. Stay safe. Blessings and peace.